I can't take Marvel movies seriously anymore. Let me explain what I mean by that. So, growing up, I was a very hardcore MCU fan. And when I mean hardcore, I was watching every movie. I knew all the comic books behind, each and every movie. Yeah, I was a bit of a comic book fan as well. And so, yeah, I was a hardcore fan back then. But now I don't really care that much. And what I mean by that is that I've kind of grown like desensitized to it, and um it's kind of like a time passing activity. It's not something I look forward to anymore. It's just kind of like a time passing activity, if you get what I mean. Um and so there's certainly been a decline in just the quality of the movies, and clear that's just clear as day, right? That's just clear as day. But I feel like the decline definitely contributed to this, but it's gotten to the point that I stopped caring about how bad every movie is, and now I just enjoy it for what it is, if you get what I mean. And this is really funny. This is really funny. But I literally, it clicked to me a few days ago that Martin Scorsese was right, and that Marvel movies are basically just, roll like theme park rides. And it's so funny that I finally get what he was saying, because I believe he said this like during the peak of Marvel, like Endgame, Endgame or Infinity War. I don't remember, but I believe it was like during that time. And so everybody was on his ass talking about, like, bro, this is real cinema. What are you talking about? Bro, he doesn't know what he's talking about. This is real cinema. And so, yeah, I don't think anyone can really argue with him at this point. And I don't want to say it's superhero fatigue, because there's still superhero shows that I genuinely look forward to and enjoy. Like, we've got our Invincibles, we've got our The Boys. Another new one that came out was To Be Hero X, which is a Chinese anime that kind of it that show might be one of the greatest superhero shows of all time, and it's only been 6 episodes. I might be glazing, it might be hyperbole, it might be recency bias, but low-key, they're cooking with that show. That show is crazy. And so if you think superhero shows are dead, like superhero media is dead, I would recommend you to check out To Be Hero X. But back to the main topic of today's video. Yeah, I feel like it's just weird to me that it's gotten to this point, right? That you watch a Marvel movie without really caring, because back in the day, like phase 1 was prime MCU to me, in my opinion, because I feel like those were the movies with the most soul. And that's because Marvel back then, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was before the Disney acquisition. And so they were on the line, right? And they had something to lose. And so, like, they had a fire lit on their asses, and it was a big risk, right? You don't see a lot of that these days. You don't see a lot of risk being taken with these Marvel movies. As for what they're doing right now, I think it's okay. What they're doing with Doom, I'm kind of interested to see how they're gonna pull that off, because I don't know how you're gonna pull off Doom being like the big bad when you're introducing the Fantastic Four like this late in the game. And I don't even think Doom is gonna be in the Fantastic Four movie, from what we've seen. There's some theories that are like Doom is gonna come in the end and then like destroy Galactus or something. Like Doom is gonna come in the end and like one-shot Galactus, and then like take over like the Fantastic Four universe, and then that's why they'll like flee to our universe, or some like crazy theory like that, right? And I feel like I don't know how to feel about that, because like the premise of introducing a superhero group, as the ones that failed to save their universe, that doesn't look very good. That isn't really good, is it? Like, so you're introducing the Fantastic Four, you have a movie with them, you have their debut movie, and at the end of the movie they either get their universe eaten by Galactus or destroyed or whatever, or taken over by Doom. And if that's how you're introducing the Fantastic Four, yikes, man. Yikes. Like, I don't even know how they're gonna introduce the X-Men at this point. And I feel like if they go for a big reset, like a complete reboot after what was it, Secret Wars, like 1 and 2 or whatever, if they go for a big reboot, I think that's their best bet at this point, because when the MCU started, was a very different landscape than the like entertainment or cinema. Okay, that's weird, but entertainment when the MCU started is very different from now. And so, we didn't have no Disney Plus shows back in the day. We weren't dropping a movie, like 5 movies a year and all that. So I believe if they do a full reset, like take a year off and try to plan everything out, basically like what James Gunn is doing with the DC universe, I think they would fare better. Which is it's ironic that I'm saying this, because I haven't seen anything from the DC universe yet. But yeah, I think James Gunn is going at it with a very interesting mindset. It's funny that I bring that up, and the fact that I'm not interested in DC or Marvel just makes me think that I've lost interest in just mainstream superhero media. That just might be it. Don't get me wrong, like I still love the classics, right? I still love Phase 1. I still love what do I like from DC? Yeah. Do I like anything from DC? Speaking of which, like, damn, man. That little DC animated universe that they had, yo, that was a banger. That was a banger. But, yeah, I think it's just that I kind of don't... Yeah, I just guess I don't really care anymore. Might be overblown. I think that's okay. I think it's because they don't take risks anymore. They don't do anything different. They just do, the same cookie cutter formula. And I feel like if they just break the mold, just a little bit, I would definitely be very interested again. Because that's what, these other indie, medias are doing, right? They're breaking the mold. They're doing something different. And I guess another thing with mainstream superhero media is the status quo. I feel like that's a completely different topic for another video. I absolutely hate the status quo. I understand why it exists, but I absolutely like hate it. And the status quo, for those of you that don't understand, is basically like, it's kind of like how comic books operate, just to keep the character in, just to keep the character going forever. And so the status quo is why Peter is still a broke college, like, what is he again? Did he graduate college? Yeah, like why Peter is a broke graduate who's still trying to go for MJ when there's like 1,000 different options better than MJ in the comic books, right? The status quo is why what's another good example? I feel like that's the most egregious example that I can think of. They've absolutely ruined Spider-Man for me in the comics. Ultimate Spider-Man, I heard, was pretty good. I read a few issues. I should probably get back on it because that was a really interesting premise, because the new Ultimate Spider-Man is basically a comic book storyline where Peter is a family man. He has 2 children with MJ, and then he gets his powers after that, and so he's like a middle-aged man working, and then he gets his powers, and so we see like how things go on after that. And also Uncle Ben's alive, but unfortunately May's dead. But yeah, it's an interesting storyline. I want to get back into that later. I want to get back into that soon. But yeah, I feel like yeah, it's just like a combination of a lot of things, like, you know, like I said, like the status quo, not taking risks. I guess me kind of growing up also is a factor. But yeah, it's just a lot of different stuff that it's just a lot of different factors that give the result of me not really caring about the MCU anymore, if you get what I mean. And so nowadays I just watch, if a project interests me, right? If a project interests me, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I go and watch it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. I see the post-credit scene. Ooh, that's interesting. And I just go on about my day. 7 out of 10. And then I see the reviews online, and I'm like, and I see the reviews online, and people are like, oh, this is like the worst movie ever, or like, this is like the best movie after Endgame. And I'm like, y'all are really taking it that serious? Like, it's just a 7 out of 10, bro. Like, it's not that deep. And I feel like a good example of that is the past 2 Marvel movies, which were Falcon and the Winters. No, it wasn't Falcon. Sorry, Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts. I watched both of those when they came out, and I thought Falcon was pretty alright. I was definitely interested during like the first like 20-30 minutes. It really did have like its own visual identity, and I really liked how it looked, but I feel like it kind of lost it as the movie progressed, and I was fine with that. because I didn't really care, right? And that was kind of weird to me. But also there was like a lot of reshoots I heard, and so that might have been why. There was a lot of like reshoots and a lot of like rewriting or whatever that went on. And so that's probably why the visual identity kind of got lost as the movie went forward. It's because like they weren't sure, like they didn't have like a grasp of the movie identity like as the movie went forward. And so I guess that's why like it lost its identity. Yeah, so it was like an average movie, right? So like 7 out of 10. Saw the Red Hulk. That was pretty cool. And then I saw the reviews online and people absolutely hated it, and I was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's not that deep, bro. And then Thunderbolts came out, and I went and saw that one. And Thunderbolts, I thought it was pretty okay. What did I like about that movie? I thought it was pretty alright. The Sentry, I really liked Lewis Pullman, I think was his name, as the Sentry. He did a really good job of he did a really good job of like the range of acting, like as, you know, Bob, and as Sentry, and as the Void, if you could even call that acting. But yeah, he did a really good job with that. And another thing that I've noticed is that I actually have started laughing at the Marvel, like at the MCU jokes. Like I've literally regressed into a casual, and that's really funny to me. Like the fact that I've actually like regressed into a casual, and that I'm actually laughing out loud at some of these jokes. And I feel like that's the litmus test. That's all the proof that I really don't really care about these movies that much anymore. Like I'll watch a new Rockstar's video like every now and then. Like I'll watch a Marvel Theory video every now and then, but I'm not really invested as I used to be. And yeah, I guess that's about it.